Tommy, I have a song for you.
Oh, yeah, really, great.
Because we've been talking for about 15 minutes. When I was 17, I lost the words now. When I was 17, I lost my virginity to an alien. It was a very good year.
It was a very good year. Yeah.
Oh, this is the film we're going to talk about later. It's fucking brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah,
the opening scene, he just goes, when I was 17, I lost my virginity to an alien. That's all I can say about that. Like, yes! What a film this is going to be.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, because I've been looking for kind of documentaries and TV shows and stuff that are kind of UFO at the minute, and they're all kind of a bit, I don't know, maybe we've seen them all, but there's a new one which is it J.J. Abrams is doing it, faux part thing, and I haven't watched it yet, but the reviews are terrible. It's like, it's the same stories over and over again. He says there's loads of hoaxes that are being presented as true. It's going, like, surely at this point there has to be a good UFO documentary or something going on.
But like, what is there left to uncover? Like, we pretty much know it's a cover up, and that there's cover-ups of cover-ups, and that there's, like, you know, the what they call the military are flying things saying they look like aliens, but they're just flying secret stuff that they want to cover over. And like,
yeah, but what's the fun? What's the fun in that documentary? I don't want to watch that documentary. you can keep that documentary.
Like encounters and that. Oh yeah.
No, yeah. I want like extra dimensional beings. I want, the Swedes. Okay. I want the intergalactic. I want the Palladians. I want
the intergalactic stuff. I want the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That's what I want. Jumping between the spaghetti hoops or spaghetti pasta things. What's that called? Pasta theory? Is that what's called? String theory.
String theory. Pasta theory. Yeah. It's fettuccine theory. Yeah, but no. Well, actually, what the documentary I suppose I'm really looking for is the Patrick Harper documentary. You know, where it's talking about the same thing through time and how it's presenting itself now, because it seems to have changed a bit. Because now they're Tic Tacs, so that's a new expression of it. Even though it's still, and the names changed because it's a UAP now. It's not UFOs. We seem to be moving into at least some sort of change of designation of what.
Oh jeez, what did the young lad call an alien here the other day?
This is racist. This is going to be racist.
He's a 5-year-old Polish guy, so, well, yeah, I suppose racism is possible. Let me look up here Google Translate and what an alien is in Polish. Because it's something like a ufologist alien.
Oh, right.
Ah, damn it, the word's not there. Gives the proper words.
No, we don't want the proper words. Colloquial, please.
Ufolotki or something like that, because it's UFO,
yeah.
Ufolotki or UFO. It's like, so I was like, Aga, does your word for alien come from UFOs? And she's like, yeah. But what word did you have before UFOs came around?
Well,
and she's like,
what before? How did it translate things? Any of his songs.
Before UFOs were a thing, what did you call aliens? And she's like, will you shut the fuck up, will you? Where do you come up with these weird ideas?
Well, I mean, alien is a thing.
Baby's crying and you're asking me shit like this. Come on, man up, will you? But
it obviously was something just foreigner then that they didn't have the notion of an alien.
Yeah. There is one foreigner. Obsa.
Perhaps Peregrine or something like that, which means someone from a foreign land.
There you go.
I do actually ask her that, to tell her that you were on the podcast, and Tommie also wants to know what the answer to that is.
She'll listen. She'll be listening now tomorrow or whenever it comes out. She's good at that. She's and then she hangs me out to dry on anything that I get wrong, which is often,
good.
in fairness. And I need that in my life, because otherwise I just get too big for my own boots, Thank God we have women and they don't let us.
We should bring her on and just have the two of you talk to each other for an hour and 40 minutes about a documentary, and I'll just sit and give scorecards and see how. Just sit in the background, interject if it starts looking violent. But other than that,
Tommie, explain for me once more, because I know you're blue in the face doing it. Okay. Explain to me what's happening with the 40 servants, because the new deck, or the new artwork for the new deck looks fucking savage, man.
Yeah, so it's the 5th anniversary this Halloween.
Give yourself a plug there, Tommie, will you?
Plug. It used to be my nickname when I was in bands. It was called the Plug. So,
Plug.
We've talked about this before.
Sparky, yeah.
So it's 5 years. 5 years. What the fuck, like? That's intense. But it's also weird because it's 4 years since I joined a photography club, and that seems much, much closer. It's just time has gone so
That's
weird.
funny, yeah.
But anyway, so I said I'd redesign the boxes and all of that kind of, and make a new limited edition deck and stuff like that. So it's kind of one problem I suppose I had is that there's always that time. When's the good time to do this? Because if someone buys the deck today and then tomorrow I launched the new one, you know, to go, oh, you know yourself when you get caught and you buy it the day before a sale, and you buy it the day. And I'm always kind of very wary about that. But like at the same time, at some point you have to do it. So, but my kind of solve for that was that I talked about it a lot in order so people wouldn't come as a shock. But then it kind of seems like it's not happening then, because, you know, was he not talking about that a couple of weeks ago? That not happened yet. So it's happening. So what I'm going to stagger it. I'm going to do it one a week, and that's mostly where I'm going to change the box of the standard deck and the backing. So it's more red than black, which I think is more suiting, because the black stuff's a bit too, well, it's cool and all that. It's a bit too a standard occult kind of thing. It's not all black, you know, and it's, you know, everything has to be black. And so then I'm going to update the deluxe version of the deck, which is the box one that has the Four Devils in it. So I'm going to put the new Four Devils in it and the old Four Devils. All going to plan. I just have to check that they'll fit in the box. If not, I'll work something out. And then it'll be a limited edition box set, which will be the standard size, because people always wanted Four Devils that were the same size as the normal deck. So it's going to have all the Four Devils at standard size in a nice little box, and a couple of other cards. I can't remember how many. There's 5 or 6 anyway of like the combination ones I've done. There's a new fixer. So and just different artwork that. And so that's going to be, it's a limited edition. So I have to work out, do I want to do a limited edition of the amount or put a time limit on it? So say it'll be on sale until the 31st of December or something like that. Because I know people, when I did limited edition before, and I used to do just 40 of them, the people were kind of, well, I don't have money this week, so, you know, that sucks. So at least if you put a time limit on it rather than we'll see. But it's limited edition, so it'll either be a time limit or the amount.
Probably time would keep people happier. Like
I think it's a better kind of a. Unless you
like you have, what is it
4 hours to buy it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, people just got paid. If you're paid monthly, then you just got paid for September. You'll have October, November, and December. You'll have 4 months to buy it. Then, you know.
Yeah.
Or 4 paychecks.
Yeah, God, I've never lived my life in paychecks. I always work for myself. It's like, what, do I get paid tomorrow, please? Can someone give me some money tomorrow?
I'm broke. What's this monthly thing? How do people have money when they're paid monthly? What the hell is going on? Like, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, king for a day, broke for a month. So yeah, so there's 3 decks going to be. There's new versions of the decks that are out, and then this limited edition one that where decision made. Then it'll be a time limited one rather than an edition limit. You know, an amount limited. And then the new version of the Grimoire. Now, I was hoping to get that done before Halloween as well, and quite likely will, but I'm not putting the pressure on myself just to get it out, so it'll be out before Christmas anyway. That's mostly done. All of the update to the original text is all done, so it's just the bits that I want to add, which is like the Four Devil stuff, and a couple of initiations and stuff that Robbie has done. I want to add them, and bits from the website about
Explain
the fixer.
Them to me then.
Well, there's an initiation of a suggested initiation of the 47s that when you get it, that there's a 45, I think 43, 45, I can't remember just offhand, day ritual where you get in touch with the saint and then ask him as the intermediary to introduce you to the rest of them. But it's just because people kind of kept saying, well, how do you activate it? How do you get into these things? Like, well, no, just use them. And people seem to want an actual thing that they could do. So this is what
make it harder. I need something difficult.
But I mean, people. I understand that people do it.
No, they do. Yeah. They need the ritual. Yeah. They need to be ritualized. Yeah. I understand.
So it was. So I used the saint as intermediary because it seems the most natural thing, because that's literally what he is. But people kind of goes, well, I'm not really into the saint. You know, I that kind of. Maybe coming from a Christian background, or they're not a Catholic, so they just don't get saints at all.
They might like the witch more, for example.
Well, that's it. So Robbie did an initiation using the witch, and he did one using the messenger, as the kind of Hermes, Mercury, and it seems fitting. So I want to add them. I must ask Robbie if I can, but I'm sure he'll let me. And a couple other bits. An update on the fixer, after the spoon out the eye incident, and a new introduction. And Lou Valentina is doing a forward as well for it. So, and again, that'll be changed from the artwork from the black thing to the red. You have to. I was hoping you'd be able to update it on Amazon, where you just upload the new files to the same. So if you have the Kindle, it would update.
Yeah.
But you can't. If you change more than spelling mistakes, you have to do a second edition.
New edition.
So it has to go up its own listing. And I mean, in one way, from a sales point of view, great, because if you want, you have to buy it again. But another way, I kind of, if I was a consumer, I wouldn't be 100%. I was going but at the same time, I have first and second editions of stuff. That I like the Donald Michael Craig's Modern Magic has 3 editions. So there's it's not as if I'm doing anything that isn't.
I know, of course, yeah.
And
plus,
it's definitely
it's a bit different than your normal kind of run of the mill book, because this is it's an ongoing, evolving thing. Like there's lots of people using these things and finding new ways of using them, and I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, and if a new edition came out every 5 years or something, sure, yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be different if you did it every 6 months or something. You were like FIFA or doing the whole thing. 47s, 2022. 3 words different and really bad graphics for some reason. So that's the thing. And just to finish off what we're planning for years, I want to get another chapter of Turbine Syndrome out this year, which means that when I get that done and the next one, which will be beginning next year, then the first book collection will be out in the first quarter of next year. So that's the plan, whether it happens or not. I'd also like to record a new song as well, but there is literally only 24 hours in a day and all of those things. Like, why can't we as magicians, maybe put 26 or 27 hours, a few extra in there, just change it, but no. Well, talking about planetary hours, this is interesting, because it was always something that I found not that helpful. I just, launching at the particular right time. Well, it's not really astrologically, I suppose, it's the planetary hours, so it's the...
What are you on about? You're all over the place. What?
Because I was talking about, I've noticed this, I've started doing it more. I'm talking to myself in my head. Where I'm going, you mentioned people, and I've got like, just talk out loud. So, there's this notion of planetary hours in magic, where the day is split up into, so you have, say, Thursday's Jupiter, so he's in charge of the whole day, but you can split it up even further into different sections.
I Drink Tea has the thing on your Discord.
All that, and that's brilliant.
The program.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We put that in show notes. And when I was doing it originally, and I didn't find it beneficial, didn't seem to do anything. Didn't seem to make the magic work better or work less or in any way, and it just seemed like an extra hassle. But over the last while, I've started doing it again, because I was kind of going, when you're launching or publishing blog posts or your YouTube things, and you're going, what's the best time to do it? Because there has to be some time. And it was always kind of some arbitrary notion that I had, that I read somewhere, that you should post at 6 o'clock or 2 o'clock, whatever it is. And it goes, what if I started posting them at the correct planetary hours? Because it's as good a reason to do as
to do with the theme of the video.
Yes, yeah. So, let's say when the Four Devils came out, it was on the hour of Mercury on the day of Jupiter. So it was like Jupiter for, good things, and Mercury because it was kind of, a communication.
Yeah.
It was kind of selling, because, we're selling the prints, and so all of that. And so it seems to have an effect, but I enjoy it. That's the other thing as well. And there's a kind of a feeling that you're doing it right, or, you feel more, which when you feel you're doing it right, you feel you're more in concordance with it, which again, that all adds to it and makes it feel more real or whatever. But it definitely, it seems to have some sort of effect other than just the placebo effect to it as well. Like, certain, if I get there was one video I put up, I can't remember what one, but I got a particularly good timing on it, and it didn't get thousands of views more than it normally would, but it got viewed fairly quick, more than it would. So I mean, like, why not try these things? And also then kind of being cognizant of the moon, when it's waning and when it's waxing, and no full moon, and don't do anything on the new moon, on the dark moon, all that kind of stuff. Because why not?
No, the moon stuff does my head in, because like someone told us a while ago that like, oh yeah, the best time to go out for the mushrooms is the full moon, and like it's complete bullshit. Like it's just not true. And there's been studies done on it, because it's this old wives' tale. These things, it's best to do it then. But if you look it up, there's a couple of research papers which is like, it's just not. Well, here's no evidence.
Yeah, the thing with that though on the moon, is
which is a pity, because I'm mad for Steiner and his farming methods. So I thought, okay, because you're supposed to sow certain seeds. It's best to sow certain seeds at the time of the month when you get the full moon, because they're supposed to draw energy and make the seeds sprout faster. It's the word I'm looking for, or sprout stronger. So I thought, okay, well, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, why wouldn't mushrooms be the same? But according to these research papers,
I know it's more than
just.
It's because you can see them with the full moon better. It's not like that couldn't be the origin of it. Like it's just more light, and so therefore it's easier to.
Look, to be honest, I thought it was the same as the Steiner thing. It's just the forces or whatever would pull them out or make them.
Well, here's kind of response to that, in that there's an old, well-known thing around hospitals, lunatic asylums, and all that, where it says that at full moon everything goes mad. People go mad.
Oh yeah.
Man,
here, look, I spent 10, 11 years in pubs. Yeah, that's definitely true.
So there's a number of studies being done on this, and it proves that there is no change remotely to do with
lies.
But here's the thing: ask anyone anecdotally who works in that, and they'll tell you. Of course, it's something happens. There are two paramedic friends, and you said two paramilitary friends of mine, two paramedic friends of mine, and I go, no, again, no question. Yeah, like, and people, working on the full moon or whatever, you'll definitely know. There's no question about it. And it's more than just, I suppose, thinking, it's full moon, it must be like there's a noticeable change. So therefore, when people say that, we looked at this moon and mushroom thing and we did a study on it and it's not there, you go, well, perhaps, anecdotally it is true. Yeah. Or the fact that you're studying it in a way. No. All right, well, there you go.
Because I went, remember the place I told you where I went? Yeah. I think I told you last week or week before, where I went, where I thought, this place will be full of them, and didn't see a single one. Like, I saw one and the farmer had driven over it.
Yeah, but you were also in the wrong place for mushrooms, though. You went to the wrong mountain. Well,
that's obviously. I mean, I thought. No.
Oh yeah, blame the moon, but you're in the wrong mountain. Like,
it was my own fault. Yeah, for sure. Grand, whatever. To be honest, I mean, I kind of shooting in the dark with them anyway, because I don't know all the ones you can eat here. And there's the other day on Sunday, we were walking and I found tons of them, and there was one particular one. There must have been 30, 40 of them. But they're those ones, they look like the bonnet ones, yeah. And you can eat them, but like you have to cook them within an hour because they all fall apart. So that's not crack. You want the ones that have that are real fleshy underneath them and don't have the gills. They're the yummy ones. Or else if you can find chanterelles, but they're hard. They're hard enough to find, But they're amazing.
Yeah, it'd be great to go out with someone who actually fully knows all of the things. I'm sure you can probably pay for people to come out and teach you these things. But
look, I will once. If I'd been down with the father-in-law, I could. There's plenty of lads down there who know them. You just go off with them one afternoon, and they'd show you.
Yeah.
Take pictures of them as your.
Do you use the app thing at all? No, the iNaturalist.
Yeah, I was using that. Yeah. It's good.
It's good. It's not 100%.
Yeah. What's it called? iNaturalist, isn't it?
iNaturalist, yeah.
Yeah. There's other ones as well. There's loads of mushroom ones as well, But the thing, I suppose, a lot of people here just kind of know them anyway. Like, it's mad. We went walking there last week before, and we weren't looking for any, but if we saw any, we were going to take them. We were more actually just going for the walk. We saw a fella coming down, and he laid them down with baskets. Jesus, there's some mushrooms over there, lads. There was none here last year. It was fucking head. He had tons of them, and he beaming, and he just delighted to talk to strangers and and say how well he done. But we weren't looking for him. You can't. We had the dog with us, and you can't with the fucking dog because you need to tie him up and then go in and then. It's just pain.
Train the dog to find truffles.
I can't even train him to not join. He's such a lovely dog, but he's as thick as two short planks. He's just, it's just like...
Most
it's a
dogs
awful thing
thick.
to say. I love the dog so much, but he's so dumb. Like, it's like there's something wrong with him. That's how dumb he is. It's just like
Well, maybe there
poor
is.
fella,
We got
you
it
know?
checked. We should get it checked. Is there actually something wrong with my dog? No, it's just a dog. That's what dogs do. They're fine. So to kind of switch it back on you, man, you were working on your website this week. You were also put up a new blog post last night, or at least I seen it last night.
Yeah, it was last night. Yeah, I wanted to get it up because I thought it might come up today and get your take on it. Because how to explain it? You know what? Maybe it's better off if just people just go and read it. So put it in the show notes or whatever. And so I thought, oh no, I may as well explain it then.
just fucking explain it. Yeah.
So look. I've kind of. It seems to me now what's kind of happening with these visions or whatever is that they tend to happen at two times, right? And it's that I'm either dog tired, wrecked, and that night then I'll get some, or else I've been fasting where I do the 24-hour thing, and so the next meditation will be the afternoon after I've eaten kind of thing. Anyway.
Oh, so it's after you've eaten after fast. It's not at the end of the fast before you've eaten.
No. Yeah, it's coming towards the end of it.
Of
say
the
it's
fast,
about
yeah.
it will be about. I would say you'd usually meditate between, let's say, 11 and 2 maybe. So let's say it'd be about 3 to 4 hours before I'd eat.
Right, cool.
Yeah, so
Well, I mean,
on
there's
20 hours basically.
There's a huge history of fasting and visions anyway. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, Jesus, I'm not coming up with that.
No. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, I mean, it's to be, and what I mean more by that, it's probably to be expected that would have.
Yeah. But like, I don't like the being like, Jesus, do I have to make myself dog tired to have these things? Because it's not worth it. It's not. You're just bollocks. Like, there's no point. But anyway, so I saw these things and I explained it like there was this Rubik's Magic puzzle game when we were kids, and it's different than the Rubik's Cube because it was a flat rectangle, but it had a pattern in it that you had to solve. So I saw these kind of fractals and they were moving. It was black. It was black and then a line of silver, and then white was the other ones, and they were just kind of all kind of falling on top of each other in the way that game kind of plays, if you remember it, you know. So that was happening. I was like, oh, this is nice. This is cool. And then it changed into this kind of pinky bluey umber. What's the thing you call it in Photoshop? It's a gradient, isn't that what it's called? You start with an orange colour and then you pull it to white and then it changes. So like that, like a gradient.
It's also a gradient in real life as well, not just in Photoshop.
Is that right? I thought a gradient was to do with hills. No?
Well, yeah, gradient. One to the next,
Same
to
thing.
another.
Yeah. Jesus, learning something new every day. My English has gone to shite since I moved over there. Like, definitely, it's just awful. Yeah. But so that was grand, and then I could notice then that it sounds so fucking weird to say it, but I wrote it as well. It's that it's.
Well, hold on, just
like that.
There's a part of the thing that I want to get at you. There's a huge amount of that post is apologetic for talking about what you're talking about, which I think you need to get over because there's something I have to get over too. It's like kind of going where you're kind of qualifying it and kind of going, oh, I'm probably a bit mad, Ted. Oh, don't be listening to me. And it's just like, just say it. It happened to you. It's your and I understand why you're doing it because I do it too because you don't want to be the nut job. But
no, I don't mind. Don't mind if people think I'm nuts. That's I'm okay with that. But it's just that maybe I'm afraid I'm nuts.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, I understand that too. Yeah. I get that. So it's a qualification for yourself rather than for other people. Then.
Yeah, maybe because like how many blogs have I had over the years and all like stuff where I'll be like, oh, I'll do this and this will be this and it'll be popular and whereas now like I have no idea what stats I'm getting. I don't care. I'm writing this for me now.
Yeah.
To make sense of the experiences I'm having, but not just the vision stuff, but also of just like, oh look, I read something cool this week on Plato or Parmenides or whoever, and I'll just write a post about because the posts are about getting my thoughts in line.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I know I shouldn't be apologetic with it, but it's just like I don't.
No, it's not that you shouldn't be apologetic. That's fine, but there seems to be. not that it's constant. That's not what I want to. But it seems like there's something that you kind of have to do the whole time. Just looks like it's
yeah. It's because I want to try and explain.
Yeah.
I want to try and explain the things as best I can to people who haven't had stuff like this before, so that they'll understand it as best as I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no. Point taken. And you're dead right too. I know other people said that to me as well. Like, don't, Yeah. Anyway, so I could notice that this kind of texture had a movement to it, and then I realized it was syncing with like how I was breathing. So I was like, oh shit, this thing has a consciousness to it. And then when I realized that, then this thing just went, it's huge, and I thought it was Tot, but he didn't have Tot's ibis beak or pelican beak. Ibis is the bird, is the beak is supposed to have out. It's bizarre.
If I was going to be a well-actually person, it's pronounced Tahuti. Thoth. No, but it'll be it's people do say that. He has another name called Tahuti.
What's it pronounced properly?
Tahuti.
But that's not how it's spelled.
No,
Tahuti would be Tihutti. Tahuti.
Yeah. So toot.
Two.
Yeah.
So it was your man.
Anyway, just to be a dick, I thought I'd just interject there. Yeah. It's Tahuti, actually.
He was massive, right? Massive, just towered above me, and I'm like, Jesus, I'm tiny compared to this motherfucker. But he didn't have the proper beak. He had this kind of weird, like, it was like a pelican beak, way shorter, right? And now Nugan pointed out to me that, well, that could have then have been horse or Ra, because they have this beak. But I don't know, like, trying to think back on it now, it's kind of like, it felt like it was Tahuti, Tot, right? It felt like that in the moment.
I've ruined it for you.
Yeah, in the moment, that's what it felt like it was, right?
Yeah.
But like, so anyway, and then I just I got the balls then to just say, right, who are you? And he said, I am Lass, the Lord of Peace. Or it was the God of Peace. I'm not sure. It's one or the other. Doesn't really matter. Lord, God of Peace, same thing, same fucking thing. Anyway, basically, he likes peace. And then he said, spread peace, and that was it. And then like, and I know where I went wrong with the blog post. The blog post just explains what it all was. And then I did a 3-card divination from the 40 servants of who was this, And I know now that that's kind of where my mistake was, because he told me his fucking name. His name was Lass.
And what is he? Well, he's the Lord of Peace.
Yeah. What am I doing, like? Yeah. So I got the 3 cards and did the thing, but we'll come to that in a minute.
Yeah.
So, and then I discovered from someone else had the message on the Discord now. Who
was it? I seen that this morning.
Funky Pumpkin, not Funky Pumpkin. Funky Pumpkin was like, because when stuff like that happens, for me anyway, it's like, okay, I who is this? What is this? How do I name it? How do I ting it? Yeah, how do I
put it in a box?
Pigeonhole it.
Yeah.
And so that's what the blog post all was. It was like, right, I got to find who this is, what the connection is, what does Lass mean, because that's a name. And the only things I could find was like, there's the word Las in Spanish, which is like a plural for they, which doesn't make any real sense in other languages or in symbolism, certainly not anyway. Las is a Polish word for forest. And then I presumed it was spelled L-A-S, but then you said, hey man, it could be Lass, L-A-S-S, which is, lad, lass. Lass is it's just a girl in Northern Ireland, Scotland, and parts of England as well. And so that's a possibility. Maybe it took that name. It's a divine feminine thing. But then I'm like, thank God for you lads saying, like, made me realise, no, I'm putting too much onto this. Like, it's just take it as what it is. It's a dude, calls himself Lass, looks like this, and he says, just spread peace. And I should just be happy with that, Because then I did when I was doing the 3 cards, I did it like what me and you did for a dream I had a while ago that I did a post about as well. And it was that I said, right, I'll do two for interpretation and 1 for advice. So I got the librarian and the depleted for for the interpretation. Like, well, I mean, obviously the fucking librarian is going to fit Toth. If any card is going to fit him, it's going to be her.
Yeah.
Do you know? Because of all his associations with, you know, learning. Where is it? The Egyptian Museum describe him as the god of moon, sacred texts, mathematics, sciences, magic, messenger, recorder of the deities, master of knowledge, and patience. So, you know, a librarian totally fits that one, you know.
Yeah. I will make the thing that you could also make a case for the road opener being in association with Thoth as well, being that Ganesha has a correlation. He is the scribe of the Hindu pantheon and invented writing, blah, blah, blah.
Right. And then there was the...
But it's definitely the librarian in that spread is definitely Tahuti.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
And then the depleted then, Jesus, how many times do I get the depleted now? It's fucking ridiculous. Anytime I do it with you, I get the depleted, which is always like, you know, ego dead, Spud's going to die, you got to sacrifice everything for what you want, and then it will bring the rebirth, the renewal. It's a good card. It's like the Tower. Do you know, it's not a bad card at all. Like,
well, within context can be. Context is king and all that. Yeah.
And then the final card then was the advice, was the guru. The guru's great. Just, you know, use what you've learned from your spiritual journey in your day-to-day life. So, I mean, they all fit fairly well. But they'll also fit fairly well if I don't look into... If I don't have to pigeonhole who and what this was. I can just take it as what it was. Yeah, because you get that... I'm last spread piece.
Yeah. Well, that you can make that... and that's what I suggest you on Discord, is that the plead is not referencing you at all. It's referencing... Because you did it in a pair, because you have the two cards and then the advice. So... Thoth, Tahuti, depleted. So it's, in a sense, could say that it's not. And then the guru being, you know, just be practical about it and go, what's actually been said? You know, I am last god of peace. You know, that's that. But I mean, being that that's the learning experience of this, is that it's also to do with ego death and not trying to look for more into it, and, you know, not being happy with what it is, looking for something better, blah, 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 blah. There is definitely a correlation between the depleted and that too.
Yeah.
You know, so
sure, yeah. And it's great the way that, like, you know, a couple of yous, when I put it up, a couple of yous wrote back and said, no, none of you said, no, it's this. You just said, it might be this, it might be that. And then it all kind of clicked together and went, you know, if I was to write that article now, it'd be a completely different article. So it would be. And I'd probably have to do a follow-up one about it as well, because it's like, wow. But like, Jesus, thanks to everyone for
but we're leaving it
to you, Tommie.
The big sink, or the big interesting one from Duggan, which was class. So I'll let you explain it, being that it's your story, rather than trying to...
yeah. So Duggan straight away put up a post saying, like, one of these, like, it looks like an ibis or a big egret landed in his backyard, and it's fucking huge. It's like he said it's like a wild turkey, and he had there's a video of it on the Discord as well, and it's a big fucking, it's like half an ostrich. You know? And it has the long proper Thoth ibis beak and stuff as well, which is mad. Like a strange, it can only be a sink, you know. But yeah, no, you.
Well, here's the thing. It definitely feels like a sink, but the fact of the vision is that it makes a point that he's not an ibis.
He's not.
Or an ibis, whatever. You know, but yeah, and then the sink is an ibis. Or an ibis. Well, it's a word I read, I assume it's ibis, is it?
It's a mad one, so, because, like, when it was happening, I was sure that's who it was. So, you know, like, and but I don't know the Egyptian gods, you see. This is the thing. He's the only one I know. Okay, Horus and Ra, I know their names, but only from last night after Nugan had sent me.
Oh, well, you know Isis, and I assume you know Anubis and a couple of them.
I know the names, put it that way. I don't really know much about them other than that, you know. So it's just when I saw this thing, the first feeling I had was, that's Thoth. But then I said, who are you? You know?
Yeah.
And he said, I'm Lass. Okay, you're not Thoth. So it's just like, okay, sorry, dude, thought you were Thoth. But, like, it was gone then. He just said, spread peace, and then it was gone, and I could feel I was drifting off to sleep, and I just saying to myself, Spud, please remember this tomorrow, please remember this tomorrow, please remember this tomorrow, you know. Thankfully I did, because it's an interesting one, because I don't know, like, I know I've been talking a lot about the books I'm reading lately about the Christian mystics and all that, and it's kind of like, Jesus, their experiences are quite different than mine, but they're still, obviously, they're mystical experiences, but it's just, Even like with the whole HGA thing, is like that it took a name or took a form of a goddess. You know, the Roman deities, you know, Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, yada yada yada. Like, you know the names, but you don't tend to know a lot about them. Her, I didn't know anything about at all. And then with this one, like, it's just that it looked to me like him. What I'm trying to say, the words aren't coming out properly, is that the stuff that I'd expect to see in a mystical vision aren't the ones that are coming. So I'm not seeing Irish gods, Celtic gods, Christian stuff, well, except the Mary stuff when I was a kid, which is funny. And I suppose it must only be because I turned my back on Christianity when I was, 17, 18, when I moved away. I was like, I'm never going to Mass again. You know? So... maybe, but it's also like I had that kind of idea when I was watching the doc we'll talk about later, that like this thing, whatever this is, it seems to manifest in something that the person identifies with or is most likely to identify with, you know. So like, I mean,
or will approach with suitable awe and reverence, awe in the proper sense, you know, and like the awesomeness that it.
Because look, like, man, like obviously someone like Thoth is going to speak to me because it's fucking God of the nerds, like, you know, learning, wisdom, blah blah blah, recorder, you know,
writing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm going to like that kind of God figure archetype, you know. Like, there's no point in, like, I don't think there'd be much point in, like, hey, what's her name, Hecate?
Depends who you ask. Hecate.
There's no point in her coming to me because, like, I think she's kick ass, but like, we've not in common, love. It's not you, it's me. You know. You know.
You're going to start finding keys all over the place. I'm telling you, she's coming for you.
Probably, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I mean,
well, I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, obviously, if you want to do the correspondence things, which the cards, you know, explicitly told us not to do, but let's do it because it's fun. So you have like Hermes, Mercury, I said Ganesha. There's probably other ones, you know. There's just that I just can't think of. But like, Mercury obviously doesn't grab you, or Hermes doesn't grab you, or, you know, you've been never warmed, I suppose, or gravitated towards Ganesha. So it's like, if that energy's kind of wants to come, then it's going to come, as we were saying, in something that's close. But I mean, and there's no, probably, is there a Christian equivalent who's describing Christianity? Like one of the apostles? If one of them came, you'd kind of go, all right, Mark, what's the crack?
You know what are you at?
You know,
what are you doing here?
John, no harm to you, but you're weird, man. You're weird, John.
Who was the magician? Simon, wasn't there a Simon? He's supposed
Simon
to be
Magus.
isn't he?
Yeah, he seems a very interesting character.
I don't know.
Yeah, so maybe that might be the correspondence, but I don't think there is a correspondence to that in the Christian one, is what I'm saying. So what would show up for you if you were? Answers on a postcard, please.
I don't know. See, there's a part of me is like very cautious and skeptical to even talk about them because, like, I know this is on a podcast or whatever, a good few people will listen to it, but it doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean? It feels like it's a private conversation between me and you, like. And it's the same with, say, if I was telling Aggie about, but like, I wouldn't tell anyone else about this stuff because it's not that. Would I be afraid that they think I'm mental? No, that wouldn't bother me because anyone that I would share the stuff with would know anyway what I'm like. You know, no, I wouldn't. I'm not going to walk up to someone stranger in the street and say, "Oh, guess what?" Because that would be nuts.
There is an element of the terrible expression, I suppose, but coming out of the broom closet and stuff like that, where you just kind of have to, okay, you know, do it. And there's a part of me that for a long while I separated, say, my occult stuff from, you know, people, real people and real life. And, you know, there was, my Facebook was just occult, just magic, whatever, and there was no thing. And then I got a number of requests from friends or relatives, and I just went, fuck it, okay, and just kind of. I know there's friends on my Facebook who can't stand the stuff, you know, and I was kind of worried about it and stuff. But no one cares. No one cares. That's the lesson. No one cares.
No one cares. It's not. Yeah. That's not what I mean.
But there's the people who even do care or don't care enough to argue with you. You know, but in a good possible way. And anyone who does, you know, you just go, right, well, you know, I'm not in the game of trying to change your mind about anything. or I'm not trying to prove anything. Like if someone says to me, which I never have, but I've, dreamt this up in my head because that's what I do. He goes, well, prove to me that what you say is true. And it's like, the answer is, I don't care what you believe. I'm not, it's like, or the answer is meditate every day for 25 minutes and come back to me in a year and see if your mind has changed about any of this. Yeah. I guarantee it will. No question. I think, No,
I think for me is that like, well, these are, because they're personal experiences, I don't, I suppose I don't really feel a need to share them. Now, saying that someone who's like talking about them on a podcast, and also write blogs about them. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's totally hypocritical, but like, as I said earlier, the idea with this, the blog I'm doing now is just to get my own thoughts together on what the hell is going on, really. But also with you is that, like, Tommie, I look at you as a fucking expert on woo.
Don't, please.
So like, but it's like, if, oh God, I don't know, like if you were a tractor mechanic and I was a car mechanic, and I'd come to you every now and again and say, look, I have this thing, is there a similar thing with your tractors?
Yeah, with tractor,
That's what I mean, you know what I mean? But also, you've mentored me as well, in a way, with all this stuff, so like, I always
ruined you. Again, as I said, I've ruined your life.
You've ruined me. You fucked everything.
Just an answer to that, again, when I started off Adventures in the Movie, when I was doing it, the whole thing was to have the warts and all look at it, of what magic is, rather than this kind of, it's presented as, it's, easy, or it's, once you're a magician, you can have everything you want, and, there's no problems, and, let's all get enlightened, blah, 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 all of those things. It goes, what's the actual reality of that? Yeah. And what I found was that what I was really doing was talking about the shit bits of it, because that's acceptable. Oh, it doesn't work. Right. Or I'm having a hard time with meditation. And then I was kind of going, well, you also have to talk about the bits when the God shows, when he turns up in your room, and you kind of go, oh, well, I don't know, that's a bit kind of, but that's, the whole thing is, it's both sides of it. So it's just been kind of way I can, I suppose, if you want to justify the kind of thing that you're having there, is that going, well, I can't just say the bad things. If it's good, then I can't lie about that either.
All right, then. So let me ask you straight up then. I don't want to ask you a shug question.
Go ahead. See what, just go with it.
No, because that's stupid. That's like, should I share these things? Or no, I don't want to ask that. That's not, because then I'm like, I'm asking permission. I don't want fucking permission, because
yes, right. Okay, I understand.
Right, because I'm writing these things because to get, like I said, to get my thoughts on it. I shared it with you because I see you as a more wise than me. You're a legend, an oracle of wisdom. That's what that's why I've called you that in writing before.
I know you have. Yeah.
That's great, isn't it? That's nice. I'm
going to put it on my gravestone. Spud says I'm an oracle of wisdom.
So, so sometimes I'm a bit confused with how I express these things, and whether there's a should in there as well. Am I doing the right thing by sharing these? Yeah.
Yes, because there's a drive in you to do it, and everything around it is seeking permission. That's the thing. I do want to share them. I do actually want to share them. That's it. Because it's so then the should after that is, looking from authorities from outside on, am I allowed to do it? And you go, well,
okay, but then also, like, is there, like, to get like the low confidence Spud into this as well? Is that it's kind of like, well, it's asking permission of can I do this? Should I do this? But also then there's the flip side of that, is that there's the low confidence Spud, and then there's the cocky guy who's like, well, I want to share this because this is amazing.
Because I'm awesome. Yeah. So it's about him rather than the thing. Well, I mean, you're in, that's the thing of a community, right? Isn't it? And feedback and stuff, and not turning your comments off and discussing it, and that if you put it up and everyone goes, well, here's our thoughts, you go, oh, fuck you, well, I made a thought, fuck all yous. You know, it's, and you have a kind of a thing around it. But I mean, you need the other cocky dude as well, because, you know, if you just have the timid kind of, well, the timid Spud turned away from it, you know, after he tried to share it with the world when he was a kid in school. Yeah. And so, I mean, until you get to the cocky Spud who can share it, that guy's never sharing anything again.
True, yeah.
So, you know, so it's I would say follow the drive. There's a need in you to express this. And I see it all as creativity and expression and trying to get something out there or that. And so that, but do it in a way where you're mindful of, well, I can sometimes be cocky, I can sometimes be timid, I can sometimes get it wrong, I can sometimes be afraid of talking about the wonderful stuff that happens because I don't want to be seen as the cocky guy. And just, like, without being trifle, you just have to try your best and you're going to fuck up and like,
I suppose the thing is as well is that, like, the thing is as well is that, like, because it's... Well, because it's almost like the alchemist journey, that you're the lone wolf kind of thing, making your own path. Sometimes it feels like it's a little bit wrong to share because you might take something away from other people, but also you might put what's the word? You might be conditioning other people to that. Well, this happened to me, so it's going to happen to you sometimes. Kind of thing. I don't want any of that either,
Yeah, but I mean, you say that, so that people understand, and you're not crying. It's like that whole thing. There's no problem with UPG, which is unverified personal gnosis, which means you have I know you know this, but for people you've had some sort of insight, but then you deem it that's the universal insight, and then you force other people to, or want to force other people to believe you. But I think if you just like, it's because like say that last experience, and you can go, well, like this. It works on many levels. Like, did I meet Tosh? Doesn't matter. This is what he called himself. This is what it represents. But it's the most interesting thing, or the thing, is the change in you that is the result of this experience. And so it's like you can't give that to anyone. You know what I mean? It's an experiential thing, and so it's like, if someone has a similar experience, you could talk to them about it, but it still might represent something completely different to them I don't really have a fully succinct answer to that. But
but I understand what you're getting at, though. I know what you mean. But that's the thing about, but that's a thing about sharing them. It's that, like, well, you're sharing something because, okay, maybe something has someone similar. They could say something. Maybe this is something completely different. And someone might say something, or maybe this is something completely different. People might get a lesson from it. I might get a lesson from it, whichever it is. But then, like, you read, like, the normal mystics, and they don't. There's kind of nothing like that.
You have to remember, the normal mystics were written in a time of where there was certain things that you could only talk about.
Sure.
Certain acceptable things, and that. Who was I reading recently? Can't remember what it was talking about. I think it was even, it probably was something about Meister Eckhart, and it was saying, like, well, this is the stuff he told us about. This is, like, he was far out and he was, like, kind of pushing it a bit, but, like, that's probably what he thought he could get away with. So, read his personal diaries. If he kept them, he probably didn't even do that, and there might be something very different, but it's still he had to fit into, as much as he was the rebel, I suppose, in some ways, but he's still within a very particular framework that you died if you said you went too far, and you got excommunicated or whatever. What year is he? He's 1500s, is he, or is he laid up?
I think it's even this
13th,
between the end of the 13s and the start of the 14s.
Right, so it's a great time for independent freedom and and independent thought. It was one of the more free periods of human existence. Yeah.
I don't know. You know what it is, and I'm afraid as well to go with the mystic label. I mean, is that because, like?
Well, Jung never liked it. He always said he wasn't, even though he's plainly is. So I mean, he struggled with it too. So you're in good company. He didn't like it. He didn't like the connotation of what it meant, But I mean,
no. But the thing is like, I mean, I didn't. When I started meditating, did I want this? If you'd asked me then, I'd have said, "Fuck yeah, I want to talk to gods."
Yeah. In fact, I'm pretty sure you did say stuff like that. So.
But at the same time, it's like there's a guilt in it that people who are doing this a lot longer than me haven't had the same stuff.
Right. Well,
similar stuff.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's your problem then, in that you don't feel valid. And is that fair?
Oh yeah, the imposter syndrome, absolutely, 100%. There I am, front row. Hello, me. What the fuck am I doing here? I can only polish the fucking shoes of the people around me because that's how low I am compared to their knowledge.
Okay, so how many years will you need before you'll feel that you're entitled to what you have?
Exactly one.
Have you?
I'm messing it. Obviously, I'm messing.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you don't know. I mean, I asked that, and I know you don't know the answer.
Of course, there's no answer.
There isn't. But like, I mean, if it was 10 years, is that enough? You know, is it 5 years? I mean, I don't know. I mean, you hear people gain enlightenment or whatever, 13 or something like Bentinho, Sorrow or whatever, or any, you know. So I don't know. I understand your trepidation. But it goes back to the confidence
thing. Like I don't like. Obviously, there is a massive confidence shadow around me, and it's something that I see and I know, but I don't know if I can ever like. You wouldn't like a cocky Spud. You wouldn't. He'd be an arsehole.
Well, I've met him. I've met him before.
Okay, yes, you know. Yeah. You know.
But you see,
I'd rather be in the middle.
But the cocky Spud is a damaged Spud. You know what I mean? Like that. I mean that's a reaction. That's so that's a role or a shadow or whatever you want to put on it. So I mean, even cocky Spud or Spud doesn't like a cocky Spud. Plainly, going by how you talk. So it's or maybe you do. You know, maybe you're afraid to be.
I'm afraid to like it, maybe.
Yeah, or stuff like that. I mean, so it's like only you know or whatever. But there's definitely seems to be a bit of, will you love me if I'm like this? You know, will people still love me, or am I still good? Is there an acceptance and a thing? And I mean, you're not getting away from that. You know, I mean,
no, I'm not.
You're never getting away from that. Like none of us are, and like because you know we're hardwired for that kind of stuff. But it's to probably not act on it so much, or to not. You know, because that's easy, you know. Just don't act on your basic needs. Yeah, but it's, and just like if the cockiness is the bad reaction or the shadow or whatever, what's the good one? What's you know, what's the thing that?
Well, the good one is just being what's the word? Equanimity, being
well
equal kind of, with this. With these things,
equal of emotions, or it's kind of like stoic as well, I suppose.
Yeah, but like, how can I be equanimous about these experiences? Because like they are what they are. They are what I see or what I experience, and I kind of feel a bit like when I have them. No, I'm only going over the same things now. I feel...
Yeah, but I mean, think how you've been honest and how you've been equanimous and all that. I think you've done this by expressing all that you have said there. And I think that's it. That is the kind of thing. Coming from the thing that... Because I said you seem to want to have done it in that blog as well. There's a lot of kind of the qualification and explaining and the apologising and stuff. So it's obviously something... Just sit with it. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I have it too. But I kind of definitely don't as easy, I suppose, not as easy. I don't as easy as I used to. I try to avoid the cocky thing because I hate it. I hate when I see it. And so, and I, in myself, and I hate when, and I just feel so bad. And it would be, imagine the worst thing that you had that and give someone shitty advice, you know, but that's also, then that's coming from insecurity too. I think, like, who am I to give anyone advice? What am I going, you know, all that stuff. It's all shadows all the way down, as some man once said. Yeah. But, of
course.
Yeah, I don't, like, it's just, this is what you have to work on. This is why the progressive path's more fun than the direct path. Because if you were the direct path, you wouldn't have to worry about this, you know, at all. Just be going, I am God, I am the thing. I had an experience, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah,
on
I do.
Saturday night. Partly of which the reason why I want to talk about it is because I don't want to talk about it because it's it could very easily be, you know, all of the things we've just been talking about, discussing about. But sure, you have to talk about these things if you decide that you're going to talk about these things. So Saturday night, excuse me, I was on my own. Vanessa and the wee man had the vomiting bug. Terrible weekend. Everyone was sick. It was awful. he was the bravest man ever. Between spews, he would go, "I'm okay," like Marshall from Paw Patrol.
Good lad.
Yeah, brave man. And it's just when he was kind of slightly coming around, then Vanessa goes, "Right, pass me the basin." I was like, "Oh,
no."
But anyway, so I ended up so my own Saturday night just watching. I'm watching a documentary called "God Knows Where I Am," which is very sad. It's about a woman with mental illness who's found dead, but it's really good. And I'm drinking that new Guinness, which is awesome. It's only available in Ireland.
I saw the photo. You put a little thingy on the top.
Yeah, it's not exactly. It's as close as you're going to get to an actual draft pint in your home.
Mad.
But it gets really drunk. So it's like I didn't drink that much, but I was drunker than I normally would. Because you can I know exactly the level of drunkenness I can get from what I drink, because I drink the same kind of things over and over again. But this was kind of different. So I was just watching, don't even know what I was watching, some documentary about some Christian thing or whatever, and I was too lazy to switch it off, because I thought it was going to be something else. I thought it was going to be, can't even remember what it was called, but anyway, so I'm just there, and then kind of zoned out a bit, chilled out a bit, kind of just sitting there on my own, just kind of thinking about all different type of things, and atmosphere of the room changes. That kind of, you were talking earlier on, you know when there's one coming, then you go, right, okay, this whole thing. And so God himself showed up. So let me explain before you think I'm a weirdo. So, because I'm kind of the feeling I got, or whatever, he kind of had a kind of Socrates look to him, or whatever, that kind of Greek kind of thing. But he was kind of going, well, I obviously don't look at this, obviously, yeah. But so it was. I can't really remember it all because it all happened so fast and so slow, and all that kind of thing. You don't really know what the whole thing is. But the kind of gist of it was, so he came to kind of answer a couple of the things around why, which is my question, whatever, and just trying to get this in my brain. So he was saying, as if he was there, but he was there, but he also was. He was like, so he's explaining to me that I'm his son, that and that it's not that. Remember, I've kind of always kind of struggling with, why would a God know everything and then pretend he doesn't know everything to rediscover, and then therefore if you wake up you're destroying the game. He was saying, no, you don't know all of these things. This is the process of you learning all of these things as a sort of evolutionary reproductive cycle, in a sense, of a God. And not me, obviously, but me, capital I, all of us, that I in us, like that entire thing, that's what this thing is.
And so he learns through our experiences.
No, we're separate from him. That we learn what he knows through these experiences.
Aha, okay.
On the way to becoming what he is.
Okay.
So it was kind of. There's two things. He was going like, I was going, well, why is it so shit? Like, why is it so sad? Why is there sadness or whatever? And he goes, and the thing, and I had to write it down because I knew I was going to forget it, because he says, because that is the nature of the place in which we find ourselves. Made a big point of it, ourself, not selves, which indicates that there is something that is, he was talking about both of us as a self as well. With also the implications that this is the place where God woke up to. That it wasn't, it's not, that this, he also found himself here and had to work it out. I was going, oh, well, that's interesting. And it was the kind of thing where it felt, he was just holding my hand and we were just sitting there, and I started crying. And it was this release, and it was just like really, wasn't like sad, but it was just like a kind of a,
burden of.
Not a burden, none of these things. It was just kind of, it was like an acknowledgement, and it was just there, and it was like, okay. And the whole thing, and then just as it was kind of fading out, and he goes, of course, this isn't really the truth, but it's the truth for what it is now. It's like this is not it's not exactly it, but it's good enough for now. And I think, right, okay, that's fair enough. That's
interesting.
And then away, that was it. So that was like, and it was like kind of going where you just kind of sat there for another while after, just kind of sitting in a kind of where you're not thinking, that kind of very strange thing where you're just in a stare, or you're just kind of off or whatever. But I thought it was interesting. I thought like that kind of notion of this is the place where God woke up to is kind of interesting to sit with. That he found himself here at some point, not knowing what was going on too, and that then the dynamic.
Well, yeah, because that's like is it the Nadanas?
Okay.
If Duncan Barford has a podcast all about the Nadanas, and it goes through I might get this wrong, but I think there were the 20 or 30 questions of the existence. So it's basically asking, it's like the 5-year-old, why, and so why is that? Basically goes back to the start at the top. Why is there pain? Why is there suffering? Why is there desire? And it goes all the way back. Why is there existence? And so the first, when you go, you understand what I'm getting at. When you get to the pinnacle of the why, and it's the ignorance, because it was the not knowing. So something wanted to know. So something came about. So that's like that
kind of thing. Yeah, it's kind of it's a satisfactory answer to the question I have, and I think that was kind of the point, that here's a satisfactory answer to the question I have, so that you can get past that and do some, and and eventually get the real answer, whatever it is. But this is, and it was also kind of. I'm not saying it's not true, because it is true. It's just not the full. It's not the full thing, or it's not the full truth, or it's a form of the truth.
But I got an experiential truth,
Yeah, or something, just like it's not a lie. I'm not, it's not, it is true, but it's just not, there's something to it that's also not true in a true way, or something. I can't really explain it. It's like telling your own son something that you're because that's
I got
how it works.
Daddy, where do babies come from? Mommy's belly.
Yeah, it's true, but it's not the truth. Yes, it's that kind of, that level of thing. And there's definitely kind of a sense of the macrocosm and the microcosm is, my relationship with my son too, that there's a learning in that, how a relation to that is also a relation to what divinity is to me, and things like that.
Right.
I mean, I heard that before, it's been told, but there's kind of, again, the experiential understanding of it or whatever. So it was.
So as in what? As in guidance, or as in just unconditional love? Or
obviously the unconditional love, but also the nature of what you are to your son is what divinity is to you, and it's that kind of that it's not, while he's a part of me, he's also not me. Mm-hmm. So it's and I don't know, it's tough to unpack with that, but there's definitely kind of a thing that there's God, there's me and the humanity or whatever, the thing, as the son, again, not gendered, but that it's, while we're part of him, we're not him, and that he also was where we were at one point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is the place. Like, as if because I was trying to go, well, why is it like? The mystery was always here, and I woke up here too. So this has always been here. So it's like so. I mean, but from the Gnostic point of view, of course, there's the the God and the God above God. So, and there's there's the question of who is the God that we know as God? Where does he fit in the kind of thing? So, is that the God, or is there a God above God? And it would kind of suggest that there would be in this, because if he woke up in a place where that would already existed, woke up in the sense of enlightenment, not that he just woke up, hello, what's going on here? That this was the experience in which, so that kind of sentence where he says, because this is the nature of the place in which we find ourselves, seemed to be the key thing to that vision, experience, whatever it was.
So we'll, if you turned up the guru card now, what would you take from it to bring into your normal life?
Yeah, the practice of so to put to rest that kind of thing of that I've talked about, how the annoyance of the Alan Watts kind of nature of the world being that God knew everything, hid himself, and it's a joke, whatever. Not to see it that this is a holy place, that it's a mystery, that there's something that you can't work out, because even God didn't work it out. But that doesn't need to, because this is just what it is, and it's the nature of this place is to allow these things to happen, and that's kind of enough for at least. So is it kind of like?
Well, the nature of this place is how would I put it? It's a place of cause and effect kind of thing. Does that make sense? It's a place.
Well, I think it was to do with why is there? I think sadness at that, and it's just because that's the nature of this place. That's that's in which we find ourselves. That's part of what it is, and that's the answer rather than.
Oh, yeah, but it's part. It's not everything of it.
Oh no, it's not the totality of it, but it's
okay. It's just one of the things that's on the list of the human experience. To put it that way,
it's like. Why am I wet? Because the nature of this swimming pool is wet. But it's but it's also
yeah.
It's also fun. It's also swimming. It's also but the nature of it, in which we find ourselves is yeah. I'm just reiterating the same thing over and over now. Yeah, so it was cool, and it was like kind of you talk about that being that it's God, but it was very kind of a different feel to the kind of. There was a friend. There was a huge amount of love, a huge amount of, understanding and acceptance and all of that. And particularly when you just hold my hands, and it was really nice. It was a really, really nice experience.
Did you get the kind of confidence boost of it, of like, you got this, man, kind of thing?
I kind of recently have kind of been okay with that kind of. Not confident in the sense if I got I know what you're saying. No, and that like it's kind of the thing that came with it as well, and this was previous in the day, was because I was thinking about what we talked about before, in that the world probably always felt like the way it does now, like it's ending, like it's in turmoil, like it's madness or whatever. Yeah. And it was the kind of thing that, and I don't want to speak out of line, so I won't say his name. A person told me a while ago where they were going, they had a sudden realisation that they realised that they felt that they were going to at some point get everything they wanted, that their life would work out, that they'd have all the sex, they'd have the all the money, the perfect job, that was going to happen, but it was just kind of in a sense waiting for that to happen. And I was kind of going, that's interesting. And then there was a realisation that I'm also doing that, that I'm also feeling there will be a point when this is right, perfect, or when things have I've worked it all out with all that, and it's the kind of the nature of this place.
You're waiting to be happy.
No, my real life will happen at some point. It's kind of over there, and I just have to walk it. I have to walk it, and it's kind of going. Well, no, the nature of place is that it's not. That's not. The nature of place is always going to be like where you are now, where there's things to be done, there's things to work on, there's things that are sad, there's things that are happy. This is the nature of this place, and and you have to be in that, because it's never not going to be different from that. And it's kind of noticing that then in my life. So when you're saying, does it give you the confidence? Because no, but it gives me the confidence to realise that I can't do it, because you can't do it. That the nature of the place is not to be satisfied or to get there or to understand it or have the perfect relationships or to have it all worked out or to end global hunger, global warming, world wars, whatever. The nature of it is not to be like that, and to be okay with that, and to kind of accept that, and to be within that, and saying that you're never going to have a perfect marriage, you're never going to have a perfect relationship with your parents.
It's the thing then it's the Buddhist thing of desire then, is to transcend desire, and
yeah, kind of that
just
kind
be
of
above the wanting, be above it. Yeah. You can still want things, but
but not think you're going to solve it, that you're going to fix it all, get it all. That's it.
I get you.
So
I get you.
All that. So that's
cool.
So that was good, I suppose, in through my head.
Awesome.
And that was the answer then to it, I suppose. That's helped me unpack that a bit there. So that all kind of came together on that. That the world, your life, the way you are now, unless you're going through something particularly hellish right this very moment, but the general feel of your life, of panic about the future, or of regret about the past, or happiness for the past, or looking forward to the better future, whatever, is always going to be that. That's the nature of this place. And the kind of thing of where we try to feed, maybe this next book will get it, maybe this next drug will do it, maybe this next pint, maybe this next one night stand, or whatever, that thing isn't going to solve it. You should still have the one night stand if you want them, though, because they're good for you. Sometimes they're not. So it is, it's like, it's all those kind of things that we all know and we've all come across, but kind of put in a, where you sit in the kind of field of knowing it, and it becomes...
Yeah. Do you know what it is? It's like, look, you can read 10 books on Buddhism and get all the ideas, but until you have something happen in a meditation, then you go, That's what they're talking about.
Yeah. But it's that's the first kind of big one I've had when I've been drinking. Usually don't happen. Usually my brain just goes, well, I would listen to music. But I have had other ones when like obviously I've had, I suppose, drug experiences, but that were never good. But so it's not that it's unheard of to have, an experience when you're intoxicated. But it's been a while since I had anything. But it's always taking note of these things too, like there's probably a lot of things I had that I didn't take note of that I even forget that have happened, or, I just discount it. In the same way that the Mary thing came back to you, it's just unless you're able to accept them as being real and acknowledge them and, but don't get carried away with yourself. Don't go, well, you know what? Gold came and had a chat with me, lads. I think I know what's going on here.
Not that I'm not afraid that would happen to me, but I'm afraid that people would think that I would have that in me to do that, and I don't. I wouldn't. But it would.
Well, I mean, no, you do, and we all do. Like, so.
Okay, I do. I do. But
it's the thing you're actively working on not doing, is what you're saying. Like, it's not something that
but like,
I would like to be.
I'd hate for people to think, oh, look, there's fucking Spud with his head up his arse now, fucking talking to God. It's not like that. It's not. It's just that these are these things that have happened to me, and I'm wanting to make sense of them. Do you know? And I think everyone can have them. If an idiot like me can have them,
I mean, but that is the answer. Like, how do you prove this then? Well, go meditate every day for a year. And I mean, the thing, to bring up Peter Kingsley, that we were talking about in his book or whatever, is going that the experience he talks about as being, presenting them as these wonderful, why he's better than everyone else or whatever is the thing, are the experiences you should expect by doing this work. They're not, everyone should expect. And they're not making you special. This is just the road. This is the thing. This is what you should be looking for. And like you two, you get it, we get it, all get it. And that's the kind of thing. But don't turn into Peter Kingsley over. That's it. Or the million other people who are like that.
Or else, Tommy, we've just been beaten down by so much Catholic guilt that we're not letting ourselves.
But you know what? In fair, I'm okay with that. If that is a result of that, then okay, I think. And a bit of humility around it. It's a good perspective.
I would love if my mates were having experiences like this and we could all sit around our check beer pints and talk about all these things. Like the way me and you do talk about them now here. You know what I mean? It'd be fucking deadly if all my mates
but I'd say people are having experiences that can't talk about them because they don't have a place to talk about them, or they feel, I can't mention. Imagine if, my dad had that when he was a kid. I don't know, maybe pick.
What's the name of your Discord there? Just get people on your Discord there if they're having these experiences.
Yeah, it's Adventures in Mubu Discord. It's actually publicly searchable now. Discord said we're such a good.
Discords are they? Oh.
Yeah, they've made us publicly searchable. I don't know what that really means. Maybe everyone is, and it made me feel special because I'm the chosen one in the eyes of Discord. But I'd say people are having experience and just don't have the kind of opportunity around talking to it and just kind of hide, like certainly any kind of paranormal experiences or, imagine, well, here's the perfect example. Like you had things at school and you couldn't talk about them. So, I mean, there you go.
Yeah, I suppose. True. Yeah. You're bang on there. Interesting.
We should probably talk about this documentary.
Pair of fucking mystics, huh? What the fuck? Jesus Christ, how did that happen, Tommy? You asked me to come on a podcast to talk about Hellier.
I know, Hellier, yeah. But I do think I suppose the answer then to your thing is that if God does turn up, that's brilliant and you should talk about it and all that kind of thing, but don't think that you're the only one God turns up to, or that you're in some way more special than everyone else because of it. Or have an authority. There you go. Have an authority that you don't have. That's my current views on it. Next week, I am starting my own religion, and you have to give me full authority. Right. So this documentary, it's called Love and Saucers, and it's from 2017. It's the short documentary. It's 1 hour 5 minutes. It's a well shot documentary, and I forget it. John Huggins, is that his name?
David Huggins.
Very close. At least I got half his name right. Who purports or suggests that from early in his life he has been contacted by extraterrestrials, or who he calls extraterrestrials. He doesn't seem to care what they are in the sense that he's open to extraterrestrials, but not non-human intelligences that have had various interactions with him, including taking away his virginity at the age of 17.
And according to South Park, that's the best age.
Right, okay.
Yeah. They have a thing in it, yeah.
Right. I was aware of this guy, so he's always popped up in other UFO documentaries, but I didn't know an awful lot about him.
A good bit, yeah.
And I like him as a person. I think he's not weird or not strange.
He's an absolute gentleman, so he's a gentleman. He's a lovely person, yeah.
And I absolutely believe that he believes he's telling the truth. Or that's kind of is a way of saying I think he's a liar and he doesn't know it. I don't mean that. I don't think he's making it up. I think he's having these experiences, whatever they are. That's probably a better way of putting it. I was watching on YouTube.
100% I believe him, man. 100%. 100% I believe every word that comes out of his mouth.
I was to search on him on YouTube. There's not that much of him. I thought there'd be more, but one of them is him on with Schofield and what's her name? The blondie presenter, and This Morning.
On the English TV, Philip Schofield.
Yeah. Philip Schofield, and she's on Celebrity Juice as well. I can't remember her name.
Okay.
But they're quite nice, but obviously are poking fun or whatever, and they kind of ask him, well, why don't you take a photograph rather than do these paintings? Because that's what he was allowed to do, paintings. That's how he kind of is the release. And he just kind of going, okay, if I have a camera and turn up, I'll try. What do you want from me? But you can just kind of go, I don't care if you believe me or not at all. And he does mention that a number of times. It's like, I'm not trying to get anything out of it. I'm just, doing my art, doing my creativity, telling you the story, as it appears to me. And, not trying to convince anyone. And, he's talking to another guy and he's going like, yeah, he's not making any money out of it. Like, so what justification has he for doing it?
He doesn't look rich. That's at all,
No. No. He's another one of those guys who halfway through he shaves off his beard and go, who are we interviewing here?
Yeah, buddy, you're supposed to do that at the start of filming. Okay, start, not at the end. Now, because you look different and younger. What happened? Don't do that.
Who are you?
God, yeah, I mean, I loved every minute of this. I thought it was great fun, and just he's lovely, and everyone is nice, and like they interview his young fella who's like, I don't know, 40s I suppose, and he's just so fucking cool about it. He's just like, yeah, my dad has these experiences, didn't affect me growing up, it's fine. I was like, what? How cool are you? You know what I mean? Like,
one day a week in a local deli and interview his boss, and he's going like, so he has these experiences. What? Yeah, great, I believe. Do you believe him? Yeah. Just the whole thing's very nonchalant, and yeah, of course, there's things going on that we don't know about. Apart from his wife, he goes, yeah, he says, I tried to tell her, and she's going, oh, you're mad. I don't want to talk about this. Don't talk to me, and wouldn't be interviewed for the documentary at all. They got a divorce. But at the end where it goes, he's been living with her. They lived together for the last 20 years. Yeah. So, but yeah, so you can understand though, if imagine you into herself there and you go, listen, we need to talk. There's something I haven't been telling you about. In fact, it's only really recently become clear to me myself what has happened, because there's a weird thing with memory where it kind of gets wiped. But I've been shagging extraterrestrials for the last 25 years. I have hundreds and hundreds of hybrid babies, and I taught them how to breastfeed because they didn't know.
We cool. Oh, the breastfeed painting is fucking hilarious. Oh God, there's another painting where there's two of these sexy alien ladies are giving him a hand job into a bowl.
Yeah. And when he's explaining to me, it's no embarrassment, there's no nothing. He goes, yeah, so this is a painting where I was brought to this room, and there's these two extraterrestrials come in, and I started wanking into a bowl, and they wanted my sperm in this bowl, and and then next painting, I was like, hold on, go back to that painting. What's going on here? It just doesn't faze him at all. Like, I assume it's because he's told the stories so many times, but there's a bit at the end where he's has a gallery exhibition, and he has the paintings up, and there's loads of kind of young people in, and they seem interested in it, and they're not making fun of whatever, but he's just so kind of, so this is where she came in, and we had sex for the first time, and and she's on the bed, and she's on top of me, and this huge big kind of 9-foot painting of a naked woman alien with a wig. I think says it's the wig at some point. But it's just kind of, and he just explains as if this is a vase of flowers, yes, and this is a red flower. This is a yellow flower.
I like the way he did. He does his. He has the little I Ching coins.
Oh yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah,
he gets them out at the start of the documentary and does a reading. Are they call reading? I presume they call reading divination.
Yeah,
really should documentary.
Hoover that floor, though. In fairness, them.
Yeah, we'll clean up all right.
Well, it is his art studio, I suppose, though.
What was? I think the question was. Yeah, he asked them. What will the aliens think of the documentary? And the answer he got was benefit. And he did another one towards the end then. And I think I wrote down the questions properly. So there's another I Ching, or 3 I Ching readings. And so the first one was, who are these beings? And the answer he got was creative being? Or creative beings, or no, maybe I got that wrong. Who are these beings? Creative being. No, but I think you meant being as in isness, as in the beingness. Yeah. So creativity. Creativity as a being. Yeah.
Yeah.
But not a human being. You get me? Why did they do it? And the answer he got was there's obstacles. So they need his babies for some
reason.
I don't know. Get over some hurdle or something. Maybe they don't have enough people on their planet. Why choose me for advancement? Like, this guy, he must be hung like a fucking donkey. You know?
Yeah. Why choose me, normal person?
Well, you've got the huge biggest dong on the planet, so we picked you, man. Yeah, we know you're not special or anything, but we wanted all the kids to have big dongs.
Spud, who has mentioned a number of times on the podcast that he's also equally well and dead. Have you ever worried about aliens coming for your manhood to, as a way to save their planet? Have you ever felt that might be part of your destiny? That that's why you have such a
They wouldn't get past Agate. They wouldn't get past her. She'd kill him. She would kill anyone, any lady that tried to have her wicked way with me. It'd be alien, animal, or whatever. There's 4 types of aliens in this, isn't there? There's the greys, we all know.
There's kind of Bigfooty guy.
There's a Bigfoot guy.
Yeah, and
there's Dickhead.
And the women and the mantis guy. So who's always there in the corner.
Right. And then there's
always
the guy
looking.
with the dick with the knob on his head.
What is he called? He says he called it he has a knob on his head. Isn't that what he says? Actually, literally just said, and then this guy, he has a knob on his head. But it's at the back of his head. It's really weird. Yeah, but the mantis guy was the guy, and he says, no, he's always there. He's always in the corner watching everything. Like every time that he's had sex with these aliens.
That's his Toss. Toss is taking notes.
The mantis are obviously the county council of the alien world, where they just sit looking at other people doing the work.
Jeez, if you saw one of those mantises, though, you'd just fucking shit your pants. Like, my God, that would be scary. I've never heard of them as aliens before. Have you?
Yeah, but not much. I think it might be actually in relation to this guy, but I have come across them before. But I mean, there's any amount of them. Like, there's the Nords, the Swedes, the ABBA, the AHA. Whatever Scandinavian bands I can think of, some death metal stuff. Cardigans. Maybe. Yeah. Olaf Arnolds, he's kind of a very peaceful kind of alien. But yeah, and he's so there's one particular woman, I can't remember her name. Have you it written down or whatever she is?
Crescent was the alien.
Crescent. Yeah. And he has a long-term kind of relationship with her, and he does seem that he feels that he's in love and all this kind of stuff. But it kind of he also goes, oh, right, there's a point then when they go away and then he gets married and has his kids. So he's kind of obviously able to quite function in normal world too. But he does say at one point that when he was at college, he used to ask people out on dates, and because then they always would find something to not like about me, and so there would never be a second date. It's going, fair enough, man.
Well, yeah.
But he does kind of say that he doesn't like that he doesn't remember, or he had to re-remember these incidences or something. There was a vague kind of memory thing that.
That's what I got as well. Is that during the marriage, and he just wasn't liking life, and he was anxious. anxiety and depression and stuff like that. And I think that's when the stuff started coming back to him.
Right.
I presume then that's when that's what it was. Then he started painting, and this helped him a lot because it was it's like the Jodorowsky thing, the ritualizing of the trauma kind of thing, putting it to bed. I mean, look,
literally putting it to bed.
He seems happy out. You know, he seems happy by finding this passion for painting and painting the stuff. But then he had a few more visitations after that as well, like where they said, you can paint this, like,
you're led.
It's grand, no bother, like just no fucking photos or dictaphones or anything like that.
No actual proof. No giving the game away.
Just your interpretation of us, you know.
There's very few talking heads in this. There's a few kind of ones of his neighbours and a few of his friends. Jeffrey Kripal's in it, which is interesting because when he comes in, I realised that although I've listened to a lot of podcasts and read a few of his books, I've never actually known what he looked like. And I was going, that's not remotely who I thought Jeffrey Kripal was in my head when I seen him. He's an interesting kind of a guy.
He's a cool guy, yeah. I like him.
Cool office as well.
Professor of Philosophy and Religion. Jesus, I don't remember the name of the college. But, I find it interesting. Bernardo Kastrup's a bit like this as well. Like, it's that like these guys are obviously on the fringes with what they think, but because they're so knowledgeable,
obviously have tenure as well. Obviously,
exactly. Because they're so knowledgeable and they're so smart. Like Paul Stamets is another one as well. Because like it's crazy stuff that they know, but because they know it so fucking well, they're allowed to be professors. I love that. I fucking love that. You've swindled your way into a great job just because you know tons of stuff about a really, really, really fucking weird thing. Well done. That's awesome. Well done.
You've won at life. You've solved it. You've done it. And then there's his neighbour it's the young guy who I assume has some sort of learning difficulties or something. He talks a bit kind of like a child. Yeah, he's in his thing, but he's so sweet. Like, and he's really nice things. And he's really into it. And then a couple of his friends, but it's definitely not interspersed with the standard. No. Talking head stuff.
I think that the use of cripple, spelled cripple. He should change his name.
Well, if you had a name like his, would you call yourself Cripple? Hi, I'm Spud Cripple.
No,
I would call it Kripal.
No, you're Kripal. Kripal. But I'd change the lettering of that. Kripal. Kry. I would go Kripal.
Or
double L.
Kripal. Or you could just tell people, no, it's Kripal.
What the fuck is wrong? But everyone's going to get it wrong. I mean, I just looked at that and went, Cripple? His name's Cripple? Jeffrey Cripple. Right, Kripal. Mr. Kripal. So, I think his interview is done to great effect because it's right. We can all believe this guy because we have a soft spot for him because he seems like a lovely person. He doesn't seem like the type who would lie. His story is too fucking long for it to all be a lie. It's too detailed. It's just I believe this guy. I have to believe this guy. He seems too fucking trustworthy. And then Kripal comes in. The cripple comes in at the perfect moment, saves the day, and just because if you do have any doubts at all, he's like, "No, look, I study this stuff. I know this stuff." He's ticking all the boxes, and and I know as well because I've had mystical experiences too, or alien experiences,
sexy mystical experiences. Yeah, he said sexy, mysterious with Kali or goddesses and stuff. Yeah,
Jesus, could you imagine Kali? How would
best night of your life, but you're not surviving it.
You'd be too scared to get a horn, but also scared to lose the horn. But it's just like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Like, this chick has fucking heads dangling off her fucking belt. She's gyrating on top of you, like.
They're the heads of the people who
might get touched on a cold day. Might get touched on a cold day. Might get touched on.
It's the heads of the previous lovers who didn't fulfil their duties. This could be you. You better be great.
They're all making eye contact as well. Can we do doggy? No.
Actually, I think about worst night of your life. Yeah, there's no point in that.
But anyway, so I like I've seen his name plenty of times as well, and in other documentaries. He's cool. But I think the interview's done really, really well. It kind of puts the cherry on top of the cake and says, if if this guy is leading his professional credence to it, then yeah, we can definitely believe in it. Now,
although in fairness, Jeffrey Kripal also. Sorry, yeah.
Go on.
No, because Jeffrey Kripal has also wrote a book with Whitley Strieber. So I mean, who is Communion guy, who the original alien probe up the ass thing and all that. So I mean, he's a history of this. But like, yeah, I still take your point. I interrupted you. Sorry.
Oh no. Okay. Well, this is just from the point of view of me and you, who like card carriers of like I want to believe. But halfway through the film, Agus stood up and just went, I just can't, and walked off.
That makes me believe it more. She just doesn't want to see the truth. Poor girl. Wouldn't know truth if she's seen it in front of her.
This is a girl who has a master's in culture studies, so like she should be all into this mad weird stuff and stuff and film.
Mad weird stuff. I got a mad weird stuff out of this documentary.
Callie, man. Callie has got to be now, man. She's in my fucking head.
Well, here's the thing, right? Whether you believe it's actual aliens or whatever, something is definitely happening. It's not like if he's delusional, it's delusional in a very unique way. In that you don't see many people who are functional in a delusion like that, and who are as creative. And if it's just a reason that he did sell artwork, say, that's not really working out for him. He's he just doesn't seem rich. He doesn't seem but he definitely seems happy.
Like stuff is cheap. You can go onto the website. You can buy one of the pieces of art. They're only like $70. Right. Yeah, $70 and nothing.
There's a book of a collection of his. It's only about 70 or 80 pages. I've actually seen it in the documentary. It's on Amazon. It's like 15 or 16 quid. Like there's no one making money in that. So
no.
Yeah. Yeah. So I if you're to believe that aliens exist, which I'm sure they do, whether they're here or not is a different thing, or the extra dimensional things, or let's take it as on face value, whatever. Then I would say that knowing humans as I do, that there's definitely scientists who've had sex with animals they were studying. Okay, because I know humans are horn dogs, terrible. So there's no question in my mind that if aliens are anything like us, then they're going to be fiddling with the scientific study as well. That's a lovely pig. For science, Jim. Do it for science, Jim. Yes, you're right, Professor. I will for science. But like, how do we know that, pigs and humans can't have a pig-human baby? How do we know that? Someone had to have a go. Someone had to be the man for that. But so something like
spend 3 years doing your degree, another 2 getting your master's, to end up in your lab coat drawing lots over who's going to fuck a sow.
Yeah. And bring in the goat. No, I did the pig. I'm not doing the goat. Come on, lads. Someone else's turn. But and there's like the experiments, like definitely the alien experiments. Yeah, I agree. If there were aliens were coming down, they would do experiments. Honestly, they'd want to know who we are. I'm not with the whole kind of, where I think if they had an ulterior or an agenda, or they were here to take all our water or whatever, I think they would have done it by now. I think there's
done by now.
Yeah, I think that big kind of thing. And if you're to take them, it definitely falls into the same kind of stuff as the fairy stuff that this guy's experiencing. And like there was a point somewhere he was offered something to go, don't drink the food, or don't drink the water, don't eat the food, don't get anything on that ship because you're not coming back then. That's the fairy thing. And the kind of the person who goes off and has the affair with the fairies, or the love and all that kind of stuff. So there's all of that is still the same, and kind of ticks all those right boxes or whatever. So I don't know.
But look, I agree with you.
But why him? Why him? Why not?
Yeah, why him?
50 other people or 100 other people? Why is his experience?
Well, the I Ching says advancement. That's what the I Ching said. So gotta believe it. Maybe.
Yeah, or is this happening more often than we know, and people just aren't as nonchalant about it as he seems to be? That he's like, whatever,
Yeah, I think most people would just get freaked out about it. So they would. But I think it's like I was saying about the mysticism stuff earlier. I think that, and the visions and that, it's just that whatever is in the morphic resonance or in the aether, I suppose it just kind of manifests in a way that you'll you are either more open to, or it'll something that'll resonate with you. Maybe not open, because like, you know, people who see Mothman fucking shit their pants, like. You know?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people who have mystical Christian visions and all, same thing, piss their pants the first time because they're so scared by the awe of it.
Yeah, well, it's like, what's the first thing an angel will say
me and you as well.
Don't be scared.
You know, we've had that too. Well, me and you have had that too. You're just like, what the fuck is going on? And then just surrender to it and let it happen, and then it ends up being all right. But like, I don't know. I don't know the answers. I mean, I wish I did know the answers. I'd write a book and sell it and buy it.
Spud's book. What's it called? The Answers. That's the name of the book. Here's the answers.
The answers.
Yeah. The answers. Yeah. That's literally pages and pages of answers. Spud, you didn't put in any questions. What are you talking about here?
But the questions are for you to find. Not the answers. See, you have it upside down. You have it, you have it all upside down. I've been reading too much fucking Kingsley. You have it all upside down. You have it all upside down. We have the answers. We just don't have the questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Coming
next year, Spud, the book, The Questions. The book you've been waiting for. It's all questions.
But no, like, look, I'm on the same hymn sheet issue. I think it's the Patrick Harper thing of it's something and it manifests to us differently. Yeah. I don't know why it's differently, other than maybe that the thing that it appears as to you or to everyone else is the thing that will give you the shock you need to either to look into it more, or maybe it's telling you to stay the fuck away because you're not ready.
Or it's the way in that it keeps itself hidden, in that if it aligns itself to pop culture in a way, then it can be more dismissed than if it was something very unique. Like if everyone started reporting huge red cubes, and that's what it was, you go, well, what the fuck are those red cubes? But because it's like aliens on UFOs and they're in the zeitgeist and they're about the horror movies and all that, then it's hidden, it's dismissible, it's not giving the game away, it's kind of hiding, it's kind of the way the other can be a chameleon and continue to exist on the fringe. Yeah. There you go, that's the answer, that's it, sorted, that's why they do it. Watch it. It's Love and Saucers, 2017. I'll put the links in the description. Not very long. It's shot well. It's
great fun. I love it. I absolutely loved it. But I want to believe in aliens.
Yeah, he obviously has told the story. Told the stories a number of times, because there's a way it's shot where he's holding the painting up and he's also sitting down telling the same story, and they can edit it really easily as like that it's the same story he's telling, but. He tells him in a good way. It's not that he's kind of sick and tired. Oh, this is the one where I had to come in a jar. Oh, he's engaged every time, but again with a kind of nonchalance kind of thing. So, yeah, I would get it. That gets 4 bowls of cum out of 5 for me. That's my rating. So,
yeah, I don't like the baby thing though. I don't like that. There's these rows and rows of.
Oh, and an almost dead baby as well. That whole kind of incident.
Yeah, he wakes it up with the static electricity, just or whatever.
Where's my baby?
Yeah, that's that. I hope that's not. Well, I don't know. I mean, you hope it's not real. Maybe they need to maybe they need to populate their planet, and this is the best way they can do it. Maybe. I mean, it's a possibility.
Well, hold on.
Probably
the way you can launch sigils with an ejaculation, or you get servitors, or any of these type of things. Maybe they're astral beings, and that's how they regenerate. They need the gnosis of the magician in order to create on the astral plane. Gee, I'm on fire today. I've it all worked out.
Someone transcribe this book. Transcribe this podcast. Sorry, I'm going to say it. This time next year we'll have enough for a burger.
A burger, yeah. We'll have 3 copies sold. Great. I'm doing, Why do you do this work? Well, it's not for the money, obviously. It's purely for the I don't know, the divinity calling on me.
If your brain is in the toilet as much as mine, you'll get a great laugh out of the hand job scene and the boob scene, the boob painting. It's very funny. It's very, very fucking funny. But also at the same time, I love this guy. He's just lovely, and I'd like to have a pint with him and talk about I wouldn't
all of us,
not even
all
the alien stuff. Just talk about shoot the shit with him, man, because he seems fucking lovely.
Yeah, seems a good guy.
Yeah.
I'm not,
What's it called?
Yeah. Love and Saucers. Yeah. So, yeah, cool.
Should have called it. You should have called it. Should have called it "Come in a Cup."
One guy, one alien, one cup. Sorry, one guy, two aliens, one cup.
Two aliens, one cup.
Bye.